Hello everybody, welcome to another Zabbix video. This time we are talking about file system monitoring, which can be applicable to Linux and Windows. And this video will be special in a sense that it contains the lowest maintenance cost as much as possible. And by maintenance cost I mean if you need to alter the threshold, we can do that in one place. So what will happen is we will create a module which will belong as a child module for Windows and for Linux template. It sounds quite unbelievable and like it almost works like a magic, and here we will dedicate our attention to understand how realistic it is, and I will prove the point. Also, I can tell probably the audience of this content is if you consider yourself as a click sensitive, if that is a meaning in English, if you sometimes notice this task costs you 6 clicks and then a year later when a new version comes out you suddenly can feel that now it costs 7 clicks to do that same task. So I would say that's the audience, and of course we will sacrifice the readability. All this template nesting will make the templating less readable and also the host things less readable. So, but it's always been a common theme. Either you choose the lowest maintenance cost, and you can go to one module to alter the item prototype, alter the trigger threshold, and job done. Or you choose the readability, which comes with the sacrifice. Maybe you need to edit 2 templates, maybe 20 templates, maybe 50 templates. But in this video I will prove the point that file system monitoring is possible to cover with a single module while still running on Linux and Windows servers at the same time. By the way, if you want to see the outcome immediately, check the timestamps in the video. There will be a section dashboards, and if it feels appealing, then you can rewind back the video and watch from the beginning. Okay, so here we are starting the journey. I have an empty template. I would call this a module. It belongs to template group modules, and currently it does not contain anything. No tags, no macroses, no nothing. And this is a part on my Linux template root and Windows template root. To start the journey, we will go to the items, create new item. This will be Zabbix agent active check, and right now to show how it works I will use textual data to save the history, to show how many similarities are actually between Linux and Windows. And here we would need to use virtual file system, something like vfs file get list of mounted file systems, their types, disk space, and inode statistics. So this single item key reports back absolutely everything about Linux and Windows file system situation. And by everything I mean what is the free disk space in bytes, what is the used space, what is the percentage, what is the total disk space of every drive. And it is quite magical. This single item key is suitable for Linux and Windows at the same time. So that will be the start of the journey. I personally prefer to very much control when exactly the check executes. So I am telling every time that when there is 15 seconds past the current minute, then it will gather this information, and it will be like a JSON. The time budget, it is 1 second. Zabbix agent should never spend more than 0.1 second gathering some data. so that's the time budget. For the tags, I will right now put file system, so for the troubleshooting we can access faster. So this is the very first startup. Now, since this module is already attached to my Windows root and Linux root, what I like to do next is create protection just in case this item goes into unsupported state. With my experience, it can go into unsupported state in case we have network file systems or some Samba shares with, like, for example, Samba share with the version 1 dot something, which is like very old from the 90s. And if that share, the network resource is not available, it can completely hang the key. And yeah, that's one downside of using this solution. It's less suitable if you have like a network file systems, going on, and maybe like it is no problem if you have everything modern, like up to date, all the new technologies. I don't think then it's an issue, but in case we use some very outdated protocols, 20 years old, then it will definitely create an issue if the mount goes away. About the protection. So what I will do is create a dependent item, which I like to call gate item. And the purpose of this gate item is just to protect all the upcoming dependent items. And what we will do is like simply discard value here. If the first item, the root item, turns out to be unsupported, then this is stopping every next dependent item. And by dependent item, I mean also like levels. We can create 3 or 4 level the dependent items, and this is just the level 2. So it will protect all the level 3 and level 4 items, so they don't sacrifice with the unsupported item. Okay, the next item I would like to do is target item. And for the target item, let's create like another dependent item here, dependent item, and which I will call here like target, and this will also be like a textual data, tags file system, and I will show in a moment that the primary key, I mean the very first key, which is this vfs.fs.get, it reports everything. What is the mount name, what is the usage space, free disk, total space. But for the low-level discovery rule, we need just the bare minimum. What is the mount name and what is the file system type? So I like to call it like 2 dimensions needs to be forwarded to the low-level discovery rule. So here we will introduce JavaScript pre-processing. I'm using my cheat sheet, and here this is how it looks like. It will look for inside the JSON. It will look file system name and file system type. I will show the raw original item in a moment, but this is the kind of this is necessary for low-level discovery. Because we will use, in a rough sense, we will use like this discard unchanged with heartbeat, which practically means like if there are no new drives coming in like for the server, like C drive, D drive, and all the alphabet, or on the Linux system root or some var lib MySQL. If no new drives are coming, so this item will save resources for low-level discovery rule. It will not trigger Zabbix application layer to go through the LLD cycle. So it can be very important if the instance is very significant, like thousands of servers, and you are just growing. Then it gets important to not overload the low-level discovery rule. Let's have a look what is coming so far. monitoring latest data. I have pre-saved already the filter which targets this tag file system, and now we see the result. Some Linux servers here, like vfs.fs.get, and now we can see like all the dimensions: file system name, file system type. And now already some magical moment happens that it is very interesting. Like it works for Linux, and here I have domain controller, which obviously runs on the Windows. So the same item key is capable to discover Linux mount points or Windows drives. And now the journey starts. We will continue with the template development and create some item prototypes. But some issues come, like if you have a Docker, then on the Docker host, it's like it discovers so many things, like a lot of drives, and the outcome is here at the bottom, vfs.get target, and it is just the raw data which is supposed to be fed for low-level discovery rule, and we see here a lot: file system name, like so many file system names, and we could monitor them, like ask what is the space, free disk space for that mount, but it's pointless because it's almost like the same outcome as for the root drive. So we want to isolate these things. So that will be the next step. I want to tell, like, to capture certain file system type and certain file system name. And to do that, it's very easy, and let's visit back the template. I will create a new macro which is called file system type, and use here regular expression, $sign, no, not $sign, but here the beginning of the line, and then extension for, and then XFS, X file system, and on the Windows it's all caps NTFS. So with my experience, this is the bare minimum, which can really satisfy like a lot of things. Theoretically, we can go with vfat, but this is usually like a boot partition on the Raspberry Pi or something. I feel it's not really necessary, and we can go with this, and it will take like the very root drives. Okay, file system type, I will put this in the clipboard and update, and now visit the items and edit this target. The target right now finds so many things, and here another knowledge which I have, which I'm a fan of, is like in Zabbix, the low-level discovery section doesn't really tell the outcome, like what happens after applying all the filters. And here we can work around with this issue, like to not be very like blind, to be confused like which parts the LLD rule filtered out. We can do the filtering before we even visit the low-level discovery section. Yeah, I like this approach a lot, and here to do the filtering, this is the syntax, like with the square brackets and question mark, we start the lookup, and then at symbol and dot, I will put the content from clipboard. Here you go. And so what do you want to target? Here we can see like either file system name or file system type. I want to target file system type. Okay. And equals, and this tilde, it means like we want to use a regular expression for the target, and the actual target is stored inside the macro, which results to extension for or XFS or NTFS, all caps. So parenthesis close, square brackets close. And yes, so this will immediately filter out like a lot of RAM system types and all those Docker mount points which run with some other file system type. And yeah, let's add this thing, and it will kick in like in the next minute. So let's visit it just a little bit later. Now let's enter the first discovery rule, And just to remind, like, what kind of arguments are going to the low discovery rule is file system name and file system type. It's like, for me, it's easy to remember. So I will copy one of them to the clipboard. And now on this target, since it's already running the throttling, I will create discovery rule. So this is the 4th level, and this is the last level available on the 7.2. I mean in the 7.0. Starting with the 7.2, there is unlimited levels. That's one of the great functionalities in the 7.2. But now we are on the LTS, so this is the last level. To name the low-level discovery rule, I also have an opinion, and since all the entities, all the mount points like C drive, D drive, varlib, MySQL, they will be generated, it is quite handy to keep these things as short as possible. I like to call it file system, so it does not take too much screen space. As with the short name, it will, like, the items will look beautiful with my opinion. Okay, and let's proceed forward. Here we introduce the mapping, and one variable from the JSON tree is this file system type, and $, dot, and in the square brackets, and that's one thing. And the other is file system name. File system name. And here I name it with the file system type and file system name. Okay, that is everything. So this filter thing, from my point of view, I start to get not a hardcore fan of this section, because there is no button to see what's the outcome after the filtering. So instead of doing this, I implemented that JSON path at the item which is called target. So I always can track when something changes, and it's holding in the memory. If we remember to link discard unchanged, it's a no sacrifice in terms of database space. Okay, this is ready. And let's for now create set the immediately here, in case I create some items and they are not replicated immediately. Okay, and now creating first item proto. Okay, before we create prototypes, let's have a look how the target looks like, because we filtered so much out. So, for example, this was the Docker host, and it now holds the root and boot, and it still contains this file system name. I actually want to exclude this as well. This is pointless to monitor. Let's do that right now. Just to copy this as a reminder, copy. And here I will show how to do negative regular expression match. We will at first create the thing, which will be called not file system name, and inside the regex let's have $, something if it ends with the overlay, if the mount point very much ends with the overlay, then I don't care about that. Let's copy this guy here, copy, update, items, and adding more filtering over here. I just forgot here to set a backup plan. If there is no match, then report an empty array. That's super useful. Okay, adding even more pre-processing steps, and the next one also will be JSON path. To deal with this, I will copy this very method and replace the macro. And the thing is, we want to not target these names, and it's easy to do by using exclamation mark in the JSON path. So we will negate this logic with this and parentheses, and also the backup if there is no match at all. if there is nothing in outcome, then at least report an empty array. So this will completely remove the Docker mount points, and now we will have like so clean situation. Update. Now with the first item prototypes. And item prototype, create. And this will use dependent item, which will very much target the gate. Remember, the gate is the kind of protecting ourselves. If this gets unsupported, then gate will stop the data flow. And that's the reason why I'm using gate for this input. Click. And I'm not using that other target because this is other protection for the low-level discovery rule. To execute maybe once per day or once every 8 hours. So the gate is input, and the first will be like get data, and let's call it like data, and the macro will be file system name. I just remember that in my mind. That's the name. This is the textual data. This time I think I will not store the history. And now the name, file system name. So this will expand either to root or C drive or D drive, since this is a module applicable to Windows and Linux. Here I will write extra keyword space. We will return to this at the very end of the video. And actually, no, this one not yet. Get data. This is the root root thing. Tags for the troubleshooting. We will set file system. Maybe I will save history for now. Okay, so this is the root data, and we want to include JSON path, $, square brackets, and then again this lookup type of stuff, question mark, parenthesis open, at that file system name equals, and then in single quotes this very macro which is inside the item name. Yeah, it's harder for me to explain exactly how it works right now, but it's very much related to the bulk data collection. We fetch all the data every 1 minute, like what is the situation for C drive, D drive, and then this very item, get data, sometimes this expands to C drive, some other item will expand to the D drive. And now with this pre-processing, I'm gathering all the information which belongs to either one very particular drive or one mount point when we think about Linux file system. And that's it. Saving this as a textual data, add. Okay, now the first dependent item. Now it could be a good idea to go back to a little bit explore what is actually behind that JSON thing, latest data. And here what we will do is, so we care about here bytes, and then we have total, free, used, percentage free, and percentage used. So what I can do, maybe I can copy this into the clipboard, copy, and open the VS Code and put it here and click the button, format document, and here you go. Like, we can understand what kind of things are available. We have available the low-level discovery kind of like finds the type and name, and then we will need 5 item. We can have like 5 item prototypes. Okay, let's implement them right now. To do so, data collection, templates, and discovery, item prototypes, click, and create dependent item. and I will now like copy and paste some stuff. Total, copy, and put it over here, and the units are bytes. Total file system name. Okay, and now I will call here, it will be called file system name space colon and total. And yeah, with this naming system we will return in at the end of the video. And that is almost a good start. File system pre-processing, and now I want to use the JSON path and like locate where is the data, and I remember like it is located inside the bytes tree, and then there is the node element is called total. Just to go back here, bytes over here and total. Okay, so this is numerical data, and let's clone these items very fastly. Clone, and I will copy this free, copy and put it over here. Click, click, and click, add, click, click, and call it used, add, and then clone. Then there is a metric called percentage used, p used, here, p used, add, and then there is percentage free. So here we would add the letter P and P and P. Add. Okay, that is kind of everything. Let's explore if anything works so far. Monitoring latest data. Starting with the welcome to the troubleshooting session. So I kind of made the item which already use best practices. So this discard unchanged with heartbeat. For this proof of concept entertainment, it kind of stops us to respect new item prototypes or trigger prototypes. So I need to remove this to just to allow through the traffic. Remove, update, and also for the sake of entertainment, I will set the data collection more aggressive. The central item will execute like 2 times per minute, 15, and every 30 seconds. Update. And now like the item prototypes should kick in, and we should have some enjoyable data. Latest data, and what do we see? Not yet, and here we see like 51 seconds, so practically it should happen after 9 seconds. It should kick in with the new LLD cycle, and more items should arrive over here. Let's refresh the page, click, and yes, the data got discovered, and by data I mean like the mount points here, the boot and the root point, and then we have also when we think about Windows computer, then we should have C drive and D drive. Here you go, C drive. Why this thing did discover, why it got discovered? It feels like I made the mistake overlay, and let's try to get rid of this overlay. So this is the file system name, and data collection, templates, and let's explore overlay. So what's in the clipboard? Like this, this is the overlay keyword, and not file system name. What should be possibly the mistake? I actually don't know. Here the $sign. Let's try this way. Ends with overlay. Okay. not file system name, update. Let's double check the LLD section. Delete lost resources immediately. This would mean like if the JSON path do not match, it should remove immediately. Let's explore, just because discard unchanged maybe. Yeah, file system type. Actually, I liked the previous version better. I think I liked, so starts with this and ends with the this, and okay, update. And I saw the mistake is like I'm targeting the wrong keyword. Like here is the file system type and this should be name. The name is over here, copy and paste. So this should respect the overlay and kind of discard the overlay situation. Update. Okay, let's. The purpose was to see how it is doing. How about like searching something specific? P or free. Free. Let's search the keyword free, and here you go. Like I have here Windows clients and Linux clients, and this will go away very soon, I suppose. After like 2 seconds, it will disappear. Let's see if that's true. Refresh and scrolling down, and where is the overlay? It's gone. Awesome. Okay, so now proving the point, it works. Like the same Linux module or the same file system monitoring is applicable for Windows and Linux. Let's create the threshold, then we will create the dashboard. And the threshold, let's call it at first some like threshold, th, and the threshold will be 10G. Okay, copy, update. Now discovery, trigger prototypes, create trigger prototype, like something high, add, select prototype, and I personally, my preference is not working with the percentage. Sometimes we have like 2 terabyte drives. That's like pointless from my point of view. So the raw free space is the absolutely most critical one, and here we would use something like professionally we would use if the minimal value from like last free metrics is smaller than threshold. Minimal value, maximum minimal. No, we need maximum. If the maximum value is from free last consecutive values is smaller than threshold, then we go into the problem state. And here is like the best practice is also to include the context. The context is this. And so this would mean like if you sometimes need exception, like this C drive needs a different rule, then we will install the override. Okay, threshold, maximum value from the last three consecutive values, smaller than threshold, then go into the problem state. So free space on file system name and event name. So it can be very handy actually when a person receives email to know what is actually the total size of the drive. And sometimes we can trick the system, not sometimes, we can write the and here and put the cursor and link this other item, which is like total and something like some like very dummy logic. Total will always be bigger than 0. And then after that we can put item value 2, like we can tell free disk space total free disk space is item value 1, total space is item value 2. There is kind of like big benefit of doing this, and the benefit is while adding these items here, it will respect the units automatically. Since I left bytes as a units for all the items, so this will always expand like automatically, either it's megabytes or kilobytes or gigabytes, terabytes. So it's a big benefit using this syntax. But more, I don't know, more nerdy, if I may say that, is since this will kind of cost extra CPU cycle, because how Zabbix calculates triggers, Zabbix calculates triggers whenever new data point arrives for any input. So this is input and that is input. So in a way I can say like I'm wasting one CPU cycle just because I kept some dummy logic over here. So we can again like sacrifice a lot of readability and do differently, like cut this away, and instead of doing the total here, we can use the expression macro. And the expression macro starts with the curly parenthesis open, and we can tell something like last click 2 times /, which means like we are accessing the same template we are sitting right now, and then the item which was holding the total is called the same as free, except the word is total. So this is the function last, and the function ends over here. And what else? And now quite a big downside, this expression macro does not respect the bytes at the item level. But we can do algebra here on the fly, and to convert like approximately to the gigabytes, we can divide by 2024 and divide it again and divide it again. And so this will report quite an extreme decimal value. What we can do next is use the function format number, which is called format num. Okay, I will use the cheat sheet. The function is called this, copy, and format number, like this, and tell like I want 2 decimal points after the, two digits after the decimal point, and curly parenthesis close, and since I'm having at the end, then also I need at the beginning. Let's see if I am writing this thing, it was good enough. Okay, yeah, so this syntax is not so readable. It's let's classify that as a nightmare readability. So we can always fall back to the item value 2 and include the total and everything inside the trigger. Okay, that is everything. If the let's actually to fire up the trigger much faster, let's use only one value, add, and in the next 30 seconds the triggers will be made in the for all of the host objects, and then after another 30 seconds the few of the hosts will go into the problem state, because free disk space on some of the servers are already I made a mistake here. Percentage free, that's not 37B. Let's fix that in here. Click file system, click, and percentage is supposed to be decimal number, and hold it as a percentage. So that's P free, and for the percentage used must do the same. Click, and percentage is supposed to be decimal number, and it must be percentage. Update. So where were we? Free disk space. I made a threshold. If free disk space is less than 10 gigabytes, then it's a problem. So practically we see here it is 1 dot something. So this host should already sit in the problem state. Let's see if that's true. Click on the host name, problems. And here you go. So yeah, I was very lucky. We have a meaningful title, free disk space. It says exactly what is the space at the time of event. And then it says like what is the total, I forgot to include file system name, that what is the total space on the drive. Let's fix that triggers, and click, and click, and this also should be inside the event name, like this. Here this will expand to C drive, D drive, or root mount point. Update. So these things will not change automatically. Either I close the event manually, or closing event manually is the fastest way. Okay, now visiting the concept of dashboards. And for the I will show like an interesting trick. I actually don't know how useful it is, but it was more like a programming exercise. I suddenly thought it can be a good idea to automatically locate the biggest drive or biggest mount point on the server, and treat the biggest drive as the most important one. And it's actually doable with the help of JavaScript, and this gate item holds the raw data about like all the mount points. So we can click here, dependent item, and I can call it biggest disk. Okay, biggest. And this will be a textual data. Now now some fancy pre-processing file system, and the fancy pre-processing will be JavaScript, and biggest disk. Here I have the sample, and so here is some magic going, some iterating through all of the disks, and then it finds it kind of looks where is bytes total and compare with every element inside the array, and that's the mechanism how it's able to kind of locate the biggest drive. And this will happen in every cycle, every minute, and this time I actually execute the data collection every 30 seconds. In a way we can say like we are wasting CPU resources here, but yeah, it's an interesting challenge, like this use case to locate the biggest drive. It's at least fun for me. So okay, biggest, and now add. So now this biggest disk, we should like after 30 seconds it will start to produce and tell in the latest data page which one is the biggest disk for every drive and all the information. And here you go, one is already found, and now it reports a single element. It will always report a single, and the biggest disk is root for this server. Let's refresh the page to find more. Click, and we have more here on this Samba server. The biggest disk is also root, and the number here it's like a 8 terabyte drive. And in the same style, like it's able to tell the biggest disk on the Windows computer as well. Like it works like a magic, I would say. And now based on this JSON, we will kind of create a dashboard, like only for the biggest disk. And the dashboard will not have any fancy graphs. It will have like a table, a sortable table of all 5 columns and also the host name. Let's copy one example here. Copy, and over here put the example, format document, and this is the input we can work with. Modifying the template, data collection templates. Now items. So now the biggest disk is like 1, 2, it's already the 3rd level. So in the 7.0, we can have only have 4 level dependent items, but I'm lucky, like the last level is still free for me. So the 4th level dependent item, click, and I would call it something like biggest and bytes used, and I will call it all the same to save time, and used. So this is JSON path, and now what we want to do is pre-processing JSON path and tell here $, bytes used. Okay, bytes is here, bytes. Okay, add, just to I did copy this as a raw data from the master, so-called master item, which is sitting in the 3rd level. Now let's copy, clone, and call it free, and free over here, add, then copy again and call it p3, and this is decimal point, and this is not bytes anymore, percentage, add, and click, clone, and this will be called p used, and here you go, add, and the total is missing, clone, no, I want the other sample, free, clone, total, click, and click, total. That is everything. Add, maybe I would fancy like file system, I mean the drive title, that would look nice. So let's clone one more time, and the title is located somewhere here. It's just in the very kind of at the very beginning, so we are not going to the bytes and going with the file system name. Since the name do not change frequently, let's set it like heartbeat, and the output should be stored as string, file system name, and this will be called biggest file system name, add, and the last available thing is click, clone, file system type, which can be like NTFS or something. Okay, add, and I kind of think it will work. Let's try to create this dashboard, copy dashboards, and I already created one. Let's destroy them to show like how to do that from scratch, and edit dashboard, delete. So file system global, here you go, like so here every Zabbix user is having the widget called top hosts. I'm using top hosts Monzphere. I will link like another video in the description to see how to install it, and the benefit of Monzphere is it allows sorting columns on the fly. Let's start to add columns, and here I will put content from clipboard, click, and call it like nicely this time, not the used, and decimal places maybe like 0, and used, add, this time I will call it, I will target free, so free, and decimal place is 0, add, and let's call it percentage used, percentage used, and this time like let's let it be also 0, and here p free, percentage free, and writing percentage free, decimal point 0. What else? We have the total, click, and total, click, total, also 0 decimal point. We need a host name over here, which we'll call host. And also we have file system type, file system name. Click file system name. Here there are no decimal points, that should be a string. And also file system type. Okay, file system type 0, and it should be done. So let's sort a little bit in a meaningful way. The first will be host. My personal care is for free, the most, and then maybe used, and then total, then use it with the percentage, and then at the end file system name, and that's it. Sort by like my precious free, and here it supports up to 1000. Add, and yes, I was successful. Yeah, so this is the outcome. Used I cannot file system monitoring, apply. So that's the title. Save. Yeah, and what a magical moment! Like we are running a single module applied to Windows and Linux at the same time, and it's a single place to create more items or rename the items or introduce more thresholds, and it will be automatically applied to Windows and Linux at the same time. To show like how to deal with this context macro, let's have one example. Like if I visit this host and go to the problems, we see here free disk space is okay. Let's close actually this one too. So a new one arrives, closing the problem, because I modified the trigger prototype, and next time it will contain more precision on which mount point it is having only this amount of free disk space. I think it's the boot partition. Let's reload, click, and here you go, boot free disk space, and here you go, and this one says in megabytes, and then it's I see another mistake, total, and if I do manual event title, it's important here to tell that's gigabytes, since this is converting bytes to gigabytes. Then I have to manually provide this in the prototype. Update. So how to install exception? It's easy. Here we would click on we will click on the title, click trigger, and we should copy this very name, threshold, and on the context boot. Copy to clipboard, go cancel, visiting the template section, click, and now we globally, like in one place, we tell like the threshold for boot should be like 150 megabytes, and this will be immediately applied because the context is already there. In the next 30 seconds the problem will go away. Let's have a look, click, and so here we have a threshold 200 something, and then like 20 seconds later it will start to respect the new threshold. Okay, reloading the page, and here you go. Like we have an exception. We told that the boot drive have to have a completely different threshold, and just in case like some Windows computer needs a very specific exception, here we can easily go to a single computer, here domain controller and host, and I can visit macro and tell here like threshold double quotes C drive curly parenthesis close, and the threshold on this host level like should be 1 gigabyte for the C drive. So this is already included in the template. So I would say it's a universal template applicable to Windows and Linux at the same time, and all the context objects are supported. Okay, the last bit I want to cover is advertise a little bit this new widget from Monzphere, which is called ECharts. And let's visit template level dashboard. Previously we made global level dashboard, but now we will visit template level dashboard. And at first I will visit here discovery rules to show what we will need to target is we will need to target data from multiple item prototypes, and what I will target is space, colon and space. So here we have a space before the name space, and then we have a colon, and then there is another space. Here the yellow symbol can kind of yellow position can highlight that. So the upcoming widget which I will show, it very much depends that there is a colon symbol, there is a keyword like a targetable keyword. If you would not have the space keyword and have this one as in the official template, then it will not work. We have to have like extra keyword before the low-level discovery macro and before the colon. And now when this is in place, I will copy this to clipboard, go click here, visit the dashboards, click template level dashboard and call it like summary, and click and add this third party widget, and which is called Echarts Widget, and I want to use LLD Table. And I will put content from clipboard, click space, and put like star here and star over there. Okay, and that's everything. So what we are doing, we are targeting 5 different prototypes, and it works like a magic. Click and update. And since we are on the template, there nothing happens right now. Let's call it file system monitoring. I will add like a link in the description how to get to this Echarts widget, how to install in the 7.0. Don't try this probably on the newer versions, or yeah, at least I think this works in the 7.2 and 7.4, but the file, there is a typo, file system, okay, save. And yeah, and now the outcome is at the host level. We have like if you have more than one drive, then this will get quite entertaining. And I, for example, on this drive, on the this host object, I have 2 different mount points, and now I have a dashboard here. Click, and here you go. Like this comes automatically because of that Echarts widget, because of that LLD table. So now it discovers all the drives for that particular server, and we can sort here, like do the click and it is sortable on the fly. Yeah, by the way, you can do this on the interface monitoring as well at the host level, like create a sortable top of some interface utilization. What's important is to respect that pattern before the colon, and yeah, have to orchestrate the names of item prototypes, and only then it will automatically generate. This does not work at the global level. If you try to target, it kind of I think it conflicts because the script underneath the hood, it finds the same drive on multiple servers, and then it does not show anything. It's a blank page. Okay, let's try to fix the mistakes in the template. So how far this is from using on production? What's important is to turn off the history for the primary item. Here, do not store history. Click. Also, the gate item. It does not matter. We do not need to store history. This is just to protect all the upcoming dependent items. If this if first one fails, then don't kind of forward the data to these biggest items and don't forward to the LLD content. What's next? Biggest disk, actually this one do not need the content as well. It's just the textual data. So we turn off the historical data update. But for the target, best practice is to introduce throttling. So because the file system name and type will not change too much, we want to introduce like 1 day or 8 hours throttling update. And discovery rules here, file system, and here this would also, it's a bit dangerous to delete host resources. I used this to get rid of that Docker overlay file system immediately, so it disappears in very very soon. So in practice we would use either never or use the after. So I think maybe never is fine, although the never could cause trouble on the Windows workstation. If you plug a flash drive, it suddenly becomes a D drive. Then it will leave that flash drive. But in a way, like never, it can create one D drive 1 day, and then like it will. Actually, I don't know full scenario how Zabbix will feel when the drive goes away. The item will just the item will be disabled, but not receiving any information. Okay, update. That's best practice. And yes, that is everything for this video. If you find it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Also visit the channel, visit the video section, have a look if you have seen all the content. Maybe some other topic feels exciting to you. And thanks for watching.